Most people think politeness is always a virtue. They confuse being polite with being good, being kind, and being decent. But that confusion is fatal. Because politeness, when used unconsciously, automatically, without psychological awareness, becomes the perfect disguise for weakness. It's a mask many wear out of fear. Fear of confrontation. Fear of rejection. Fear of being seen as difficult. And this fear turns men into servants of perception. They bow not out of strategy, but out of conditioning. They smile when disrespected, nod when manipulated, and tolerate things that should never be tolerated. This is not virtue. This is quiet surrender. Machiavelli understood what most modern men have forgotten: politeness is a tool, not a law. It must be chosen with precision. Applied only when it serves your strategy. If used at the wrong moment, it becomes a leash around your neck, a leash held by those who understand power better than you. The weak man clings to politeness as a defense mechanism. He uses it to avoid conflict, to smooth over discomfort, to stay accepted. But the Machiavellian uses it as a disguise, a calculated maneuver in the chessboard of influence. He knows when to wield it, and more importantly, when to drop it like a sword drawn from its sheath. Because there are moments, critical moments, where politeness doesn't protect you, it exposes you. Moments when smiling is not strength, but surrender. When being agreeable is not smart, but suicidal. When being nice costs you your pride, your boundaries, your future. And if you don't know these moments, you will lose power slowly, silently, until one day, you are surrounded by people who do not respect you, but they enjoy how easily they can use you. Let's begin. The first moment where politeness must die is when someone publicly disrespects you. This is not a private insult whispered behind your back. This is a calculated gesture of humiliation, done in front of others, designed to reduce your social value while elevating theirs. And in that moment, every eye becomes a camera. Every witness becomes a judge. Your reaction writes the script that will follow you long after the moment has passed. Most men, when disrespected in public, do exactly what they've been conditioned to do: they force a smile. They laugh it off. They downplay it. Why? Because they want to appear composed, controlled, above it. But what they don't realize is that this automatic politeness sends a very different message: not strength, but submissive tolerance. When someone disrespects you in front of others and you respond with politeness, you're not being noble, you're signaling that you're safe to humiliate. That your pride is not guarded, that your identity is negotiable. You don't have to scream. You don't have to insult back. But you must drop the social mask and let the room feel your clarity. A firm stare. A simple, cold, "Don't do that again." A silence that makes the air heavy. This communicates far more than your forced laughter ever could. Because in moments of public disrespect, it's not about revenge. It's about signaling. You must show the room that you are not a man who tolerates erosion, because once that perception sets in, it will be tested again. And each time you smile through it, you lose something you may never get back: respect. The second moment when politeness must vanish is when someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries. A single slip can be ignored. But repetition is not an accident, it's a test. People don't just forget your boundaries. They test them. They inch closer. They apply pressure. They poke. They prod. And if every time they push, you respond with softness, with gentle reminders, with vague discomfort, with "I wish you wouldn't," you train them to view your boundaries as suggestions, not laws. Eventually, they stop asking. They simply take. And the worst part? They believe you allowed it. Because you did. Through excessive politeness, through passive signals, through your inability to enforce. When someone keeps stepping past the line you've drawn, you do not owe them warmth. You owe them the truth. You owe them your spine. A boundary that is never enforced becomes a decoration, invisible, but meaningless. The Machiavellian understands that boundaries are not fences, they are walls. Walls must be built strong, defended consistently, and punished when breached. Without this, you become open territory, free to be drained, manipulated, and disrespected. And every time you smile and say, "It's fine," when it isn't, you invite more erosion. Eventually, you will hate them for what you allowed. Worse, you will hate yourself. So stop decorating your life with polite half measures. Make your boundaries sacred. Make their violation expensive. The third situation where politeness must be obliterated is when someone uses emotional manipulation to control you. This is subtle warfare. It doesn't come as an insult. It comes as guilt. As an obligation. As, "After all I've done for you." People who cannot dominate you through logic or strength will often reach for emotional weapons. Tears. Silent treatments. Gaslighting. Playing the victim. And the average man, raised on the idea that making people uncomfortable is wrong, folds under this pressure. He softens his voice. He explains himself. He becomes overly gentle. Why? Because he has confused guilt with responsibility. But the Machiavellian does not fall for this trap. He recognizes guilt as a psychological leash and cuts it immediately. If someone is trying to control your behavior through emotional blackmail, you must respond not with kindness, but with cold clarity. That's emotional manipulation. It doesn't work on me. That one sentence, said once, said quietly, can sever the cycle forever. Emotional manipulators feed on your discomfort. They prey on your need to be liked. When you stop giving them that comfort, they lose power. But if you stay polite, if you try to be nice in that moment, they will interpret it not as strength, but as softness. And softness is fuel to the manipulator. Do not give them that fuel. Let them feel the cold edge of your detachment. Let them see a version of you that cannot be moved by guilt, shame, or emotional chaos. That is real power. Fourth, never be polite when negotiating power, leverage, or respect. This applies to business, relationships, leadership, and especially self-worth. Too many men enter negotiations with the goal of being liked. They apologize before asking. They speak tentatively. They say things like, "I hope that's not too much," or, "If it's not a problem." They frame their value in a way that shrinks them. Why? Because they want approval more than they want outcomes. But negotiation is not about being liked. It's about being respected. And you cannot be respected if you sound like you are asking for permission. The Machiavellian speaks few words in negotiation, but every word carries weight. He understands that silence creates tension, and tension creates leverage. He doesn't smile unless it serves a purpose. He doesn't apologize for his standards. He doesn't hope for what he wants. He states it. Clean. Sharp. Final. If the terms don't serve him, he's willing to walk away. That willingness alone makes people pay attention. Politeness in negotiation is a signal that you're not prepared to walk away. That you want acceptance more than dominance. And once they smell that, they press harder. They offer less. They test your frame. And every inch you lose is permanent. So be polite if it serves your positioning. But never let it soften your stance. In the realm of power, niceness is a luxury you cannot afford. Fifth, and perhaps most tragically overlooked, never be polite to your own excuses. Most men will never be destroyed by another person. They will be destroyed by the voice inside that justifies their decay. That soft whisper that says, "It's okay, just rest," when discipline is needed. That says, "It's not your fault," when it absolutely is. That says, "You tried your best," when deep down, you know you didn't. These lies are polite. They are gentle. And they are poisonous. Because they make mediocrity feel like comfort. And once comfort becomes your drug, you will start defending your weakness as if it's virtue. The Machiavellian does not tolerate this inner softness. He does not negotiate with his lower self. He confronts it, corrects it, commands it. He tells the truth, even when it burns. You were lazy today. You made excuses. You acted weak. Not to punish himself, but to own himself. Because a man who is polite to his own failure will never escape it. He will decorate it with language. He will wear it like armor. And soon, it will become his identity. You must become ruthless with yourself. Cold with your patterns. Unforgiving with your excuses. Because if you're not, who will be? The world won't correct you. It will just quietly pass you by, giving opportunity to the man who disciplines himself when no one's watching. And that is the heart of this message. Politeness has a place, but it must never be automatic. It must never override your instincts, your pride, or your principles. There are times when being polite is wise, when it gains you access, when it disarms an enemy, when it conceals your true intent. But there are other times, far more common, when politeness is not strength, but suicide. When it makes you small. When it teaches people they can step over you without consequence. When it protects your comfort but costs you your sovereignty. You are not here to be everyone's favorite. You are not here to make every room comfortable. You are not here to be understood by the insecure. You are here to master yourself, enforce your code, and build a life that commands respect without needing applause. And to do that, you must know when to smile, and when to stare. When to nod, and when to say no, when to be gentle, and when to be steel. This is not about arrogance. This is not about cruelty. This is about selective force. About emotional sovereignty. About wielding your presence like a weapon, not to harm, but to ensure that no one ever mistakes your silence for surrender. Because in a world where too many men bow before they think, nod before they judge, and apologize before they speak, you will be different. You will remember this? Never be polite when the moment demands power.